Hey gorgeous, it's Kat here from katloterzo.com, founder of Success Mastery Shake-Up School, and I'm here with you today for another episode of Entrepreneur Reality TV, the place where we tell you the truth, the whole truth, no filter, no BS, no makeup, no nothing, just everything that actually goes on behind the scenes of running a seven-figure business as an entrepreneur, in this case traveling the world, location-free, full-time, or at the moment anyway. So today in this episode I'm going to talk about the topic of resistance, and it's an area that I've been facing a little bit in my own life over the past few weeks, just feeling a bit of uncertainty about how to take action and what the next ideal action is for me in my business. At the moment I'm here at my parents' house for a couple of weeks. I've come back to Australia with my two kids just for 2 weeks to see my family and friends, and there's lots of new babies in my family, so wanting to spend some time with those babies and everybody who's close to me. And my husband's actually gone on to Spain ahead of us, so we're going to meet him there in a few weeks. And so it's kind of a time where I've given myself permission to just chill a little bit in my business and not have a lot of tasks that I have to do. So of course it causes some contemplation and reflection and a little bit of anxiety as well, like, oh, I'm not doing as much work as usual. And what I've realized is that when I step into resistance, it's pretty much to do with a lack of clarity about what actually matters most. So I might be telling myself I've got to take action on a certain task, but I just don't feel like it. And maybe it's because I don't really deep down know if that task actually matters to me on a soul level. Or sometimes I don't feel like taking any action because maybe I've only assigned myself an hour to do some work and there's so much that I could do that I just don't know where to start. So perhaps you've encountered some form of resistance in your own life over the past little while, or maybe it's an ongoing theme. I think it actually is an ongoing theme for all of us. I know it's just something that's kind of constantly there in the back of your mind and you've got to really step into it every single day. What I will say to you though, from a clarity point of view, is when you absolutely know what your key actions are in your business and indeed in your life, then resistance will still be there. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to ever have no resistance, but it's very easy to work through because you can say to yourself, well, this is all that matters. It's just this one thing, or it's this one or two or three things. So if there's really more than like a handful of things, like 3 things even, then you probably don't have the clarity that you really need to move forward in a big way towards your goals. So if you're finding that you've got so many things that you have told yourself are important, it's a matter of needing to step back and go, no, you know what, if I only had an hour a day to work on my business, or if I only had half an hour a day to work on my fitness, or if I only had 10 minutes a day to keep the house in order, or whatever your goal might be, then what would be the thing that would make the most difference? So I guess it kind of is a conversation of 80-20 as well, and just really knowing what your powerful activities are. I've found that there's been certain times in my life, for example during pregnancy, where particularly towards the end, where I really just didn't have the time, or well, more so the energy, right? But really just wasn't putting the same amount of time into my business as I might have in other times. And it also happens when I'm, let's say, preparing for a trip, or I've got, let's say, an event or a conference that I'm running, and so all of a sudden I've got only an hour or 90 minutes or sometimes half an hour to get my usual amount of work done, and you suddenly realize what you can let go of and what actually matters, and so you become very efficient at doing the stuff that really has to get done. Well, that's certainly one approach, but what can happen is that if you don't have clarity around what your day-to-day really truly important stuff is, then if you have a limited amount of time, or you give yourself a limited amount of time, you'll just focus on the urgent stuff that you know is on deadline, basically. So I want to look at it in a different way and say to yourself, if you knew that for the rest of your life you could only dedicate 60 minutes a day to your business, or if it's a different goal, let's say fitness, that you could only have even 15 minutes a day to work on your fitness, what would be the 1 to 3, maximum 3 big things that would really make a difference for you, where if as long as you did that, the rest would kind of to an extent sort itself out. Now it would still be ideal to get more stuff done, but if you could only do 1, 2 or maximum 3 things a day, and you only had this very limited amount of time available, what would you be spending your time and energy on? So it's just a simple challenge for you today, maybe a journaling exercise, probably stuff you've already thought about, but I'm sure you can think about it again and then take action accordingly. So that's my little kick in the butt for you today, and just sharing from a place of where I am in my life and just feeling a little bit like, oh, I need to get back to clarity around what matters most to me. Have an amazing rest of the day wherever you are in the world. Don't forget, life is now. Press play. And before you leave your computer, head over to katloterzo.com if you haven't already. Join the community of kick-ass women making all sorts of waves all around the world, and download a free copy of one of my latest Amazon books while you're at it, as a thank you gift for joining. Bye.